A very good morning to one and all present here. Today, I, Monica Gulia, on behalf of Geeta Ratan International Business School, welcome you all for the session on prototype validation of academic session 2020-21. Geeta Ratan International Business School was established in the year 2004. GIBS is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi, and is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, Ministry of HRD, and Government of India for technical courses, and Bar Council of India for law courses. The institute is accredited as Category A by National Assessment and Accreditation Council and assessed as Category A+ by State Fee Regulatory Committee, which is a fee committee of Government of Institute of Delhi, Joint Inspection Committee of Government. The institute has been rated Grade A by Academic Audit Cell of GGS IPU consecutively from past 5 years. GIBS has also been rated number 2 by Times B School Survey 2018. The institute conducts postgraduate courses of MBA first and second shift, MBA International Business, and undergraduate courses of BBA first and second shift, BBA LLB, and BA LLB. So GIBS, with its favor and blessings of its well-wishers, have come a long way as a school of excellence in the field of professional education. At GIBS, thrust is on over personality development of the students so that they can face the challenges in their competitive professional life with value-based approach. Apart from providing quality education, emphasis is on to develop the leadership skills, risk-taking abilities, and decision-making skills right from the beginning of their professional education. Going by this agenda, the institute conducts various sessions under IIC on regular basis. So today's session is on prototype validation is a sequel to the aforementioned objectives. So startup are centers of innovation and are way to enhance employment creation in any economy. Startup entrepreneurship is crucial because it brings innovations, new jobs, and competitive dynamics into the business environment. Prototyping to test, refine, and validate concepts, ideas, and interactions is a human-centered approach to design which focuses on understanding what people want, need, and value in rapid, agile, and iterative manner. So prototypes helps to gain insights into which opportunities will provide the great value to the customer and the business. To explore proposed features, functions, and interactions of product, service, or system, and to save the business time and budget before they make costly efforts and decisions. The webinar is conducted to deliberate on the following issues, which include to develop an understanding on mechanism of prototype validation and to understand the benefits of prototype validation for the successful creation of value-based product. In order to fulfill our intent of inculcating such expertise in the students, we have an eminent speaker with us, Professor S.K. Palan. He is the founder director of Great Lakes Institute of Management, Gurgaon, and Shri Sringeri Shraddha Institute of Management, Vasant Vihar, New Delhi. He was formerly industrial advisor in the Ministry of Industries, Government of India, where he looked after the development of electrical industry and technology department. He has visited many countries, to name a few, it's USA, China, technical missions. He has done a World Bank consultancy assignment for developing technology policy for the Philippines government. Professor Palhan is currently professor in Great Lakes Institute of Management, Gurgaon. He is also an advisor to St. George's Ministry of Defense. Also, he is a trustee at Indus Quality Foundation. He is also president of Media for Community Foundation. He has taught courses on production and operations management, project management, creativity, entrepreneurship, and business ethics to postgraduate management students. Professor Palhan is also the author of management projects published by New Dawns Press, INC, USA, UK, and India. Co-author of Defense Industrial Base 2025, published by Shanjos in 2010. Self-Effectiveness, which was published by Stalling Publishers. Professor Palhan has also conducted more than 250 programs on self-effectiveness and team building in large number of schools, software companies, banks, etc. So he leads the program of Karma Yoga in the Great Lakes Institute of Management. In this program, the management students visit nearby villages for social entrepreneurship to solve their problems. So basically, this program is based on social welfare activities. To name a few, these activities include digital literacy, health camp, upgrading the computer labs and drinking water, etc. As a trustee of Indus Quality Foundation, he is engaged in rural development and computer literacy, tree plantation, upgradation of science labs projects in Chamoli, a district of Uttarakhand, in the Himalayas mountains since 2009. Professor S.K. Palhan is an electrical engineer who is graduate from IIT Kharagpur. He did his MBA from FMS Delhi University and had advanced training in industrial management in the Netherlands. So we are privileged to have you with us here, sir. Without taking much of your time, I would like to request our eminent speakers to take this session forward. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to interact with your students. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. There's a slight change in the topic which I'm going to talk about, but basically on entrepreneurship. I understand that the students have undergone various lectures on this topic. So two topics which get left out, that's what I'm going to talk about in slightly more detail. So let me go to the share my screen. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just let me try, just wait for a moment.
Sir, you can continue doing the same. The way you have turned your screen share on, now you have to click on the button on your screen rather than going
screen, yes. No, I'm not able to see my PPT.
Sir, if you have kept it in the minimize mode.
Yes, I kept in the minimize mode, yes.
So, okay. So first you start your screen share on.
Which one on? Yes, just a minute. Entire screen.
You start your screen share on, and then once it is done, click on the PPT only, which is there on your monitor. That is on your laptop.
Just a minute. Is the window which is coming, but I'm not able to share the PPT.
So the same you previously were doing. Yes, sir. Minimize it now and open the PPT.
Minimize this one?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. The whole thing may go out.
And sir, now you will be able to see your PPT on your desktop. Kindly open the PPT.
Is it visible?
Not yet, sir. Is it visible to you?
It's visible to me, yes.
But sir, it's not visible to us.
Just a minute. I'll stop sharing.
So what you do is, sir, like you please turn on your PPT first.
Yes, PPT is already turned on.
PPT is on. Okay, sir. Now you start the screen share on.
Okay, screen share on, yes. Okay, now what is the first next step now? You
Now
go to
you click on the,
entire screen.
yeah.
Okay. After that, you go to the windows or no?
No, not go to the windows. There is a box which opens up below entire screen. Click on that.
Oh, again, the multiple things are coming.
No, that is okay, sir. Now, on the bottom, you can see your PPT, right? Just click on that icon, sir. Like we have done yesterday. On the bottom. Huh. Now
Is
it's
it
fine, sir.
visible?
It
Yes,
is
sir.
visible now.
Okay, okay. So, thanks for the help given. Okay. Now the screen is visible, all right?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Okay, let me start. I'm going to talk about the entrepreneurship spirit in a new approach. Now, the topics which I'm going to cover is the where do you start entrepreneurship? And I like to stress upon that entrepreneurs do not compete. And then how do you start? I'll talk about a model called the Namaskar model. Secondly, I would like to discuss how to generate large number of creative alternatives to solve a problem. This I'll do through the techniques of flowering of ideas or divergence viewpoints, then convergence, then this will follow by question and answer session. That's the format of the discussion today. What do the entrepreneurs do? They need certain tangible things like land, building machinery, etc. I'm not going to touch on that. They also need a large number of intangible items, creative ideas, courage, ability to take risk, teamwork, etc. In even this intangibles, I'm going to talk about the how do you really start with the creative ideas and how do you narrow down to a few ideas for implementation. Let me discuss this the what should be the criteria for a choice of a product or a service by an entrepreneur. I have seen the entrepreneurship in the industrial environment in the country also over a period of 20 years. And what I have noticed is most of the people choose a criteria for as an entrepreneur where the demand is growing. Some people talk about when there's a demand gap between supply and demand. People talk about where there's a growth potential in future. And they also look into the profitability of existing players. Lay's and Uncle Chips are making a lot of money. Or pizza people are making a lot of money, let me go into it. Expertise is available. Technology is proven, so that no risk is taken. These are the most of the important criteria by which people chose the new enterprises. Sometimes it's a personal hunch or a choice. And the truth is, none of them is right. Because the moment your product fits into the above criteria, that means there are existing manufacturers. The product is already there. And you have to compete. And as an entrepreneur, your capacity to compete is highly limited. Let me explain. The three parameters on which any enterprises compete is the quality, price, and delivery. If you look at the quality, a beginner cannot make as good as a product which the existing people have. They have made mistakes, corrected them. They have better choice of material. Their people are trained. Their raw material sources are established. Technology is also established. So they are able to make a product of higher quality. I usually tell my students, a daughter-in-law can never compete with the mother-in-law in making chapatis because she has got a huge amount of experience in that. So what should the daughter-in-law do? That I'll talk about slightly later on. Second issue is the price. The established manufacturers have got advantages of economies of scale. They have depreciated their investments. Their fixed costs are low. Even the raw material that they buy are at a very less rate as compared to you. Let me give an example. If you want to make chips, potato chips, when you start, you will buy potatoes from the local market, maybe at the rate of about 12 rupees a kilo. But your competitor, who is a large manufacturer, he is going to buy from the farmers directly. He's going to buy rupees at the 4 or 5 rupees. Now imagine 12 rupees and 4 to 5 rupees. How can you compete with them? Even if you don't make a profit, it's very difficult to compete with them. So you can't compete on quality, you can't compete on price, and you cannot compete even on delivery because you don't have a good infrastructure to start with. So this looks like a very, the negative approach to business, but it's a very adequate approach. Let me look at that. The question is, if you don't compete, then how do you start? So the first lesson which I want to convey with you is entrepreneurs are unable to compete and they know it. When you follow the Namaskar model, which I'm going to talk about soon, you don't start with a product or a service. You start with people and their problem. And problem is an opportunity for an entrepreneur. That's the starting lesson. Problem is an opportunity for an entrepreneur. They don't start with the product. They start with people and the problem. Let me look at the so I have put up a very negative pictures. That means entrepreneurs cannot start. So what do they do? And how can you start an enterprise without a competition? There's a famous saying in Chinese language. They call it VG, which means a problem, a crisis, and it also means an opportunity. So the main role of an entrepreneur is to convert problem into an opportunity. Let me discuss the model. How do we really start? Namaskar is easier to remember. I'll talk about very shortly. Step is, you don't start with the product. You start group of people, which are called as the target group. Target group can be senior people, unemployed youth, they can be housewives, they can be people who are seeking jobs. You can select any people, or people who are left-hander, because each group would have different problems. Identify the problems faced by the group. And the truth is, if the problem is existing with that group, it means that nobody has cared to solve it so far. And that's where your opportunity lies. And out of those problems, identify one problem which you can solve in a creative manner. And you won't be competing with anybody. Solve the problem. That's where all the management techniques will come into the picture. And get paid. That's also an important part of entrepreneurship. For a commercial entrepreneurship, you may pay directly by the customer, or there may be a model where you are paid indirectly. The customer doesn't pay, but somebody else pays you. If it's only a service, you are solving a problem without any payment, this is what we call as a social entrepreneurship. The steps in social entrepreneurship and a commercial entrepreneurship are same, almost same. But the truth is, You have to have a revenue model in the commercial enterprise. And that's not present in the social enterprise. Let me go further. In Namaskar model, it's easy to remember this particular name. Na means Nutan. You have to give a solution which is comparatively new. It's not run-of-the-mill solution. Number two, it should be you are starting with the Manushya, the target group, not with the product. Then Sa stands for Samasya. What are their problems? The problem may be objective in nature, subjective in nature, acute, or emerging. All are important. You can select any one of the problems, and problem must be identified at an appropriate time. If you try to solve it too early, it doesn't work. If you're too late, the bus is already gone. So right timing is also very important for an entrepreneur. And last is the Namaskar is the Rath. Rath means how do you reach to the target group to solve the problem? How do you sell the product or a service? How do you do it? Where do you locate it? What's the medium? What do you do? How do you do it? When do you do it? And where do you do it? Location of your business. Rath deals basically with the management hardcore techniques. But the idea starting is the most important one, because if that is wrong, nothing else will work at a later stage. Examples. In America, one of the manufacturers, he was a left-hander. He found out that all the hand tools are designed only for the right-handed people. And what he did was, he identified this as a problem. That means the left-handed people and the tools for them. You might wonder, there's no difference between right-hand and left-hand tools. But when you go home, make a small experiment. Take an ordinary hand tool like a scissor, take a thick cloth and try to cut it with your left hand. Then you will realize the problem faced by the left-handed people in handling a tool. So this gentleman identified 2-3 tools for the left-handed people, and his quality was not very good. His volumes were small, his price was high, his delivery was long, but he solved the problem of the left-handed people. So people with left hand, their problems were solved and they bought. So in this case, neither quality nor price nor delivery was really relevant. And historically, if you look at this particular case study, the person started in his own district and slowly to the whole state, whole of USA and the world over, because he had no competition. So this is one example. Let me give you one example for general. I have not been to your institute so far, but there must be a tea stalls outside your college also, typically in a Delhi university. And all tea shop owners, they are making money. If you say, okay, let me make a tea stall and sell tea, you'll be for surprise. You'll find it very difficult. But if you set up a tea stall in the Zanskar Valley, where I had an opportunity to go, it's in the Ladakh area, and people have to trek about 20-25 kilometers till they see a village. If your shop is at that particular place and people want to have a cup of tea, they are not going to ask you, is it a Darjeeling or a Lopchu tea? What's the price of the tea? Now, if you ask them, that the boy has gone to fetch milk from the neighboring village. Tea will be served after half an hour. They will wait. So in such case, when you're solving a problem, neither quality nor price nor delivery makes any difference. And you are in business. There are many examples. I will not talk about this. And so whatever I talked about so far, problem is an opportunity for entrepreneurs. They solve the problem and get paid. And first lesson to learn is entrepreneurs do not compete. Let me go to the creativity part of the entrepreneurship. All of us had a particular education mindset which is analytical in nature. And right from the beginning, we are taught to be analytical and looking for the best solution. The math problem had one solution. The essay to be written was in a particular way. So each one we were looking for the best solution. We made a judgment, yes or no, black and white. But there may be solutions in gray area between black and white too. But what we are looking here are creative solutions beyond black, white, and gray. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And the creative solutions are like WebGear. They are beyond the limit of white and black. Now, how do we do it? Conventional approach is to find solutions in concrete world. That means with the limitations, whatever you have. And you assume that the constraints cannot be overcome. But in solving creative problem solutions, they may not be found in the concrete world. You may find them in abstract world. In abstract world, there are no restrictions on thinking process. It's a wild thinking. From abstract approach, one has to come back to the concrete world for solutions. Let's look at this is a problem and a solution. Idea is try to solve it. That's the conventional way. But what I'm suggesting is understand the problem of the concrete world, go back to the abstract world where there are no restrictions on your thinking process. ये feasible है, material नहीं है, cost high है. Don't think about that. Keep the mind absolutely open. Generate a large number of alternatives. But then there may be crazy ideas. But for implementation, you have to come back to the concrete world for implementation. Now, how do you go about? In concrete world, you make the observations, what the problem is. And then you go to the abstract world and find out the opportunities for solving it. The ideas may look absolutely crazy. And you develop a large number of ideas given by the yellow circles. But many of them may be totally impractical. Then you do the convergence and do a concept development, keeping in view the constraints which can't be overcome, and solve the problem in the concrete world. That's the way to solve your problem. Now, I will touch upon three areas, How do you identify a problem? Number two, how do you generate a large number of ideas? And how do you convert the ideas to a few one which can be implemented in the concrete world? That means the solutions which you find should be desirable. That means they effectively solve the problem. They should be feasible within the constraints, and they should be economically viable. That's where you get the solutions for implementation. Let me go through quickly the process of developing a large number of alternatives, and I call the idea as a flowering of ideas. I have conducted close to 300 sessions on flowering of ideas with their software companies. I've been on the board of two companies, software companies, to solve their problems. And this technique has been applied right from the board level to the villages in Uttarakhand. Objective is to develop a large number of alternatives or creative solutions to solve a problem. And in this process, you also have a gain of team building and involvement of participants in generation of ideas. It's a team approach. And use the infinite potential of individuals. It's not only the scientists in the lab which can find creative solutions. Creative solutions can be found by anybody. Don't think that this is meant only for highly qualified people. It's the thinking process which is more important. In flowering of ideas, first preparation is team has to identify and understand the problem. In fact, in most of the cases, we try to solve the problem without understanding it. That's not an effective way. Spend a huge amount of time in understanding the problem. Then you select, and the team members, you select one as a recorder. You go through round 1 and round 2. In round 1, team members give their single best solution to solve the problem, one after the other. And there's no discussion. And the suggestion is to be noted by the recorder without any discussion. I'll explain it through example also. But let me go through the system quickly. In second round, we take one suggestion at a time, and all members have to give single best way to implement the same solution one by one. And then we look at how to implement the suggestions given by the different people. And in case the suggestion is of general nature, then team can go for the second round also for implementation. But only one suggestion at a time for one member. The idea is nobody should dominate the whole show. Everybody should be able to contribute. Now, let me explain briefly. On the red circle, you see the problem. First step is to understand the problem. Then I have taken a team of 5 people sitting around the yellow table, and one of them will act as a recorder. Okay. And recorder asks one by one, what do you think is the best way to solve the problem from each participant one by one. So whatever is given is recorded by one. Second is the second solution. And please see to it, there's no discussion. Idea may be wild, impractical, silly. Even then we'll record it. Third, fourth, fifth. Up to this process is very simple. People can do it. So that means, given a problem, there are 5 ways to solve it. They may be technical, they may be economical, they may be political or social solutions to a problem. Okay. Now we take this, the first round is complete. We go to the second round. In second round, we take first solution what was given, number 1, and ask everyone, how will you like to implement it? Let me give an example. For example, we were solving the problem of air pollution in Delhi due to vehicles. The suggestion given is, let's reduce the number of cars on the road. There can be different ways of implementing the same one. That means you may follow odd and even rule. You may reduce the number of cars registrations. You may not allow cars to come from outside. But there are different ways how the number of cars on the road can be reduced or phase out the old vehicles. There are different ways. So whatever is the suggestions given is recorded here. All 5 members do it. You go to stage 2, second problem. Second solution, others implement it. Third, fourth, fifth. That means in this process, you are able to generate almost 25 alternatives to solve the problem. And the beauty is, all these alternatives are mutually inclusive. They are not mutually exclusive. Normally, when you do the brainstorming session, we follow the principle of the exclusion. We select one and reject others. Here, given a problem, you can solve through 2, 3 different methods also. In this technique, there's no limitation on suggestions, but only one suggestion at a time by one person. And this would avoid dominance by one person only. And a suggestion may look apparently silly, ridiculous, crazy. Even then, it will be recorded, not rejected. But other members have the chance to implement in their own way with modifications. In the process of building on the ideas of other persons, the suggestion is not the monopoly of one person. The ownership is shared by all the members. And this would help in implementation of the solution by the team. Second is the convergence one. In convergence, what you do is you give the stickers to all the people of the team members, and everyone has to choose in every petal at least one of the solution which thinks is the best one. So in this case, each person will be given 6 stickers. There are 5 petals. So in each petal, I'll put up 1 sticker. I have used 5 stickers in that. The 6th sticker will be on that, which I think is the best choice. Same process is repeated by all the 5 members. And this is what the result you get. So this is a group thinking. And here, if you look at clearly, the maximum numbers have come in the area of in 5, which marked as a star. That means almost 6 people voted for this. So this is a very good way of finding out the common solution which can be worked out, and it's feasible. There are a lot of advantages of flowering of ideas, where you're able to generate a large number of alternatives. And then, of course, you do the convergence, as I told earlier. I think at this stage, this is a typical way a flowering of idea diagram would look like. Okay, I think at this stage, I'd like to stop sharing. I'd like to stop sharing, and we've got about, I overshot by a few minutes. This is a time for question and answers. And I think all the participants who are there, if they have any questions, they can put up on the chat box. I will have a look at that.
Yeah, so there is one question by Professor Ram.
Yes.
You want me to read it out for you?
Okay, you can read it for me, yes.
Okay, so he's asking rather, is that problem can be solved through innovation or experience or group effort?
Can you repeat the question again?
Sir, he is asking that the problem can be solved through innovation or experience or group effort. Is it it's more of a statement?
In fact, it requires all 3 of them.
एक बार उसमें नाम जो हैं वो थोड़े से डालने पड़ेंगे.
Director sir,
मतलब नया बनाना पड़ेगा पेंटमेंटी वाला. एक तो बेरी का नाम है ना, नितिन बेरी का लॉ में नाम है.
मुझे बता दीजिए सर किस सब्जेक्ट का नाम चेंज करना है.
I'm not able to receive the chat's message.
हाँ, लेकिन मेरे पास नाम जो है लॉ के जो दिखते हैं वो तो हैं. और
Yes, ma'am, I'm calling, sir.
Thank you.
हेलो.
Yes, please.
और रोशनी एक मिनट, मोनिका का फोन आ रहा है, मैं देखता हूँ.
Sir, on the right hand side, there is a chat section. Yeah, you have to enable on the chat.
Hello.
Then you'll be able to see.
Hello, sir. आपका mic on है.
I've enabled the chat, yes.
Yeah. So on the right hand side, there's a
Yeah,
question by
yes.
Professor Ram. Yes.
But I'm not able to read any message there. I think you can read it up in the meantime for me.
Sure, sir. So this was the only question so far. The participants are requested to post their questions here only.
Okay. I'll wait in the meantime.
So, okay, sir.
Usually when I do this thing in a workshop mode, it's usually followed by a problem which the teams have to solve over a period of time, maybe 15 days or so. Then find out solutions and then actually implement it. Because in entrepreneurship, it's not a theoretical exercise. You may take a very small problem and try to implement it. That's the way I have been doing with my students for a long time, over the last 15 years or so. And I'll share with you the type of techniques which have been used. My students, for example, over a period of 20 years, from Shingeri especially, 20% of them are entrepreneurs in India and abroad today, which is a very high figure as compared to any other institution. I'll wait for the students to put up any questions or clarification they would like to have.
Right, sir. So as I can see, so far no questions.
Okay, either the students have understood everything or they have not understood anything. So
No,
both
sir.
ways okay.
So everything I think is quite understandable, sir. The way you are explaining it is very, very explanatory, sir.
Okay, if there's no question, then I think I'd like to close my talk. And thanks to the institution, that means the way you introduce what you try to do in the institution, that's very good, especially on the personality development module. Because techniques can be learned, marketing, finance, operations can be learned. But the teamwork, the ability to be creative, or personality development, this is also equally important for success in life. Thank you. Giving me
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, thank you. Before we say thank you to you, can I put up a question, sir?
Most welcome.
Sir, I mean, like the students, we have been encouraging our students to get into the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So, can you suggest that what benefits would they draw from it if they are not following that that same corporate dream where they are chasing a cushy corporate job rather than going out there and developing their own enterprise? So, what advantages would they have?
Okay, let me. This is very. I thought somebody would have covered this question earlier. Now, entrepreneurs, first of all, the quality of life in a society depends on the product and services available. And who brings the new products and services? They always come through the entrepreneurs. It's not only inventors. Entrepreneurs make products and services available. And that's a very important role. So the quality of life depends on this. Number two, the way the things are going on, the jobs are going to less and less. Look at the government, look at the automation, the number of jobs are going to be more. So that means instead of a job seeker, you become a job producer. You solve the problem. Because today, for example, job is a major problem for the youth. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're solving not only your own problem, but problem of a large number of people. So entrepreneurship is not easy. Let me make it very clear. It's not easy. It's quite a tough sell. And that's why all people are not entrepreneurs. But the rewards are fantastic. Rewards are fantastic. And entrepreneurs do not mean that you have to be highly qualified or highly skilled in a particular technique. If your mind, you are able to, you have a empathy, and you are able to understand the problem of the people, in that case, you are the right person to become an entrepreneur. But it calls for a discipline. And if there is no entrepreneurship in a country, you will be dominated by others. Without having a new technology, you cannot survive, especially in today's environment when there are a large number of technologies that are changing altogether. And the truth is, it's very difficult to buy technology from others. Even people give you technology, they give you outdated technology. If you want to be a leader in any area, you got to be entrepreneur. Otherwise, you remain follower all the time. So that mentality has to change. If you show your leadership skills in that area, become entrepreneurs. That's important. I think that may solve, to some extent, what I want to say.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your words of wisdom. I'm sure the students must have been inspired and enjoyed this session.
Monica,
Thank you so much.
Monica, let me just put up one more question. Sir,
Yes.
like, sorry for, actually, I went on mute. Sir, like many of our students are, have this question in our mind that right now it is a situation which is very grim. We are not able to predict future. So,
Yeah.
do you think that we still have a role of entrepreneurship, or this is something where they should really aspire for even now?
No. In fact, this is the right time. The problems are maximum at this moment. I'll tell you one thing. Normally, we used to do I'm talking about the social entrepreneurship part, but it's applicable to all. Earlier, while doing the social entrepreneurship, we're solving the problem of the villages around our campus in Gurgaon. When the COVID situation came and students were their own home, we did not stop it. Within their own limitations, they did the work in their own resident, wherever they were present. Because the problems were everywhere. So they had to solve the problem. Problem like somebody wanted to have the payments were a problem. So digital literacy was taught to the people. Or some people didn't have the masks, make them masks. Some people are not, and it can be given employment to people also. So that means, and even the children have a lot of problem when they are actually confined to their homes. How do you solve the problem? How do they make their life better? Give them entertainment, give them games, give them creativity. So that means the problem can be solved. In fact, entrepreneurship is required much more in times of problems, not the time of peace. This is the right time. Problems are plenty, and you have to solve it. If the masks are not available, you try to solve the problem. If somebody is not able to get a meal at the home, so try to solve the problem. Now the problems are multiple. People are not able to find the mates for working in their home, and maids are not finding the work. There's a problem. So there's one of the students has solved the problem in very creative fashion. So that means the pandemic moment, the pandemic time, it's a problematic time. In fact, this is the right time for the entrepreneurs to step in. You don't have any competition. You solve the problem in a manner, and then you develop a confidence that I can solve the problem. In fact, that's the learning step. Start with a small one which you can solve in your own way. Then grow up. When your spirit becomes high, you become confident of solving problems. That's how you become an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Right, sir. Very well said, sir. Thank you so much for the answer. So one more thing, like we have, this was the session for prototyping. So
Yeah.
When you are going into the entrepreneurship area, other than the the startups which are largely in the area of today's modern days technologies like AI or other areas, allied areas, is prototyping equally important when we are developing a service-based model? Like just now, you were recommending that the mates are not finding homes and people are not finding mates. So if I am developing a solution for this problem, so is it required that we need to have a prototyping here?
No, you have to make a trial. Prototype means don't do it in a big way. Make a small trial. Is it work out? What are the problems? It's important.
Right. So thank you so much, sir. I still would request before we wind up the session, students, if you have any questions, you can post it here. I have been asking questions on the behalf of students. Thank you so much, sir, for answering. Yes. Over to you, Monica, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a knowledgeable session, and our students have got inspired a lot with the session. Thank you so much, sir.
I think the work is done. Now the students are at their own home. I'll
Yes.
be happy if they're able to solve the problem around their area, their locality, senior people, youngsters. If they are inspired enough, they should solve the problem. And I'm
Definitely.
very happy to get a feedback if one is able to do it. That's the spirit of entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I'll exit. Thank you.